Father.
you, Joe. Again, it seems like
Well, me and Willie, we were having a real cool and real calm discussion, but yet, it was pretty interesting. I don't really agree a lot with Willie. He expects too much from the public schools, and I want to get your input. Where where do we start? Because there wasn't a lot of public schools when we first started out, and it used to be a teacher was somebody that was respected. Nowadays, I don't know. I mean, what do you say, Father Paul? I mean,
well,
don't you think that we ought to teach our kids at home before they turn 3 years old?
well,
Because
first of all, I think you're right. Will was very calm in speaking about the concept of revolution.
yeah,
And I think the calmness came from you, Joe, because you said it's not like we're going to have a revolution and get everybody else revved up and start to be intrusive. But you hit the key, I think, is we have to have a revolution within our very self. And then it becomes integrative rather than intrusive.
yeah,
Because really, the only way we can get to sort of a cultural revolution, which goes into community integration, is to look at ourselves in terms of being a product of multicultural experiences.
yeah,
And then what we have to do, and pardon me, Joe, for just kind of going a little bit abstract to start with, then we can do with our multicultural developmental committees and so on, and policy making, then that can lead into intercultural, actual developmental core teams, whether this is educational teams or teams in politics and so on, so that it can become transcultural, so that it goes in a developmental fashion to people. For me, politics is people. And to the very individual, who has dignity and rights, but dignity and rights that are enrooted, kind of like inborn developmental dignity and rights, of which we already possess, Like, for example, we talk about behaving, if we could only get our children to behave. Well, behave means being and have, okay? Joe, I gotta go to my own experiences, I think, to help grapple with this problem, or with this idea of revolution taking place within oneself, which leads to community integration, and community integration leads to employment integration, as well as then economic integration. It's my 1950 to 53 experience, my friend and freedom experience, okay? So in St. Michael, Minnesota, we had, as I indicated, a St. Michael baseball team that everybody would attend, the whole town of St. Michael. Well, I had a very close friend, Lloyd Deere, and he was already going down here to Oklahoma Shawnee, Oklahoma, to St. Gregory's School. At that time, it was a boarding school, a high school. And he said, Father Paul, you know, why don't you, you know, I'm in the seminary there, but the nice thing about St. Gregory's, it's not only a scholastic age where you could become a priest or a monastic brother in this type of vocation, but you can also play varsity sports. Okay, so, and meaning, you know, especially baseball. In the seminary, we wouldn't have this opportunity. It would be intramural and not, you know, just regular competition against other schools. So I went down to St. Gregory's, and of course, you know, how are you going to pay for it? An education, you know, that's always well, at that time, the way it was set up is that I worked my way through, okay? So even though I was on the football team and the basketball team, varsity, as well as the baseball team, after we'd have a game, and the next morning, I was, you know, washing the uniforms and paying my own way. I also had to sweep and scrub all the floors, and you know, St. Gregory's with our Benedictine Hall, you know, it's that big castle-like building, so it not only has the tower room, which at that time was our basketball court, but it had 4 other floors, so it's quite a bit of work.
Yep.
Well, if I ran out of that, and this really was helpful to me, is Father Eugene had the library, and I would help check in and check out the books, of course. Then I'd have to put them back on the rack, and I'd have a lot of time, so I'd end up reading a lot of books. So this was a tremendous experience where while I was getting an education, I was really setting myself free so that I became more and more independent in terms of supporting myself and at the same time gaining an education. And so I think this is what maybe you're referring to. You know, there was a real self-growth and development while I was contributing to the growth and development of the operation of the school I was going into, and there was a real investment in, you know, what I was doing and what I was trying to achieve.
Yeah.
So now, as far as education itself, Joe, I have to go to my international experience of New Delhi in 1994. And there I attended a conference that was, and one program that was presented by a school in Connecticut. And we had programs from all over the world there. It was the World Congress on intellectual disabilities. And there they presented this idea that the special student, where they integrated to educate the child. And then I said, well, what do you mean by that? Well, we mean that they had an opportunity to do more activities and gain more experiences. Well, and I said, well, wait a minute, that's not academics as such. And then a professional from New Zealand said, I get the point. And I said, Mister, it seems to me that there needs to be something before integrating to educate into a regular academic situation. And he says, yes, and he said there is. And I said, in my experience in Germany, the Montessori system is using integration to integrate, and that's all I hear in the United States. We have to integrate to educate our children. And I said, how come is this happening all over the world? Well, he said, they're putting a Trojan horse into the system. So somebody comes up with something new, you know, Wilfredo's talking about new ideas and so on, in order to be able to, with new ideas, you know, come up with earning money in order to kind of earn a livelihood sort of thing. So now, in order to gain a livelihood, we have to have new ideas to earn money to make a living. Okay? So anyway, and I said, okay, what is that something that to present a new idea into the system, say public education or education in general, or you know, as a regular academic education? He said, well, before using academic age and academic achievement, we need to have a system of general education, or whatever you're going to call it, where we use human abilities before academic age and human achievement before academic achievement. I said, thank you. And so then that's the meaning of my experience quotient. We use the human abilities of the child, you know, in terms of recreational activities, cultural activities, you know, and they can be not only educational activities, but economic or employment activities, you see.
Yeah.
And so that this starts, and then through doing these human or these activities, using our own human abilities, then we come up with real human achievement, which is going to enrich our academic achievement. And so do you see what's happening here? So we educate, you know, in other words, we allow, and here's where the parents come in, allow the child to use their abilities so that they can achieve already in the first days of life, or you know, the first years of life, and so that then they're being integrated into the home and the family is the nucleus of society. So then we can integrate them into what society expects us in not only informal education at home, but in a very formal type of expectations and education in our regular public school system.
The way I see it, I don't think I understand you, is when the parents have a child and he starts to walk, and you reward him, you go, how good you're doing, see, and he just keeps going, and he learns more, and the next thing you know, you send him to school. But I think like Willie said, we're putting a new word on there's nothing new under the sun. So the word revolution is like reawakening ourselves or being aware